So I'm here in my kitchen and you can hear the dishwasher in the background, and I'm making some soup because Rachel's on the way around, and to be honest there was some tomatoes that needed using up in the fridge, and I thought I'll make some soup. So that's what I'm doing. But as I'm doing that, I thought I would speak to you about why Activate is so important to me. Years ago, when me and my husband were running a small church in Preston, it was an amazing source of help. A friend of mine invited me along to the weekend away, and I was able to speak to people from all over the country who were doing very similar things to me in small little churches, and we were able to support each other and look after each other and give each other ideas and encourage each other. And I used to look forward to it so much because it gave me that time just to get away, be inspired and go back and carry on what we were doing. And I volunteered then for Activate for a number of years, and then I became the director of Activate I think about 9 years ago or so, and it's been an absolute honour and a total privilege, and I feel really blessed every time we go to someone's church. Going to someone's church and talking to them about evangelism and changing the way people see evangelism has been so important to me, and it's been one of the highlights my life, and I know it's what God's called me to do this sort of thing. I went to a church in South London and I spoke to a lady who'd been talking to her neighbours and her friends about God for years, and she said to me at one of the breaks, she said, "Today is the day I'm going to give up reaching out to people in my world." She said, "I've never sat down and prayed the sinner's prayer with anybody ever, so everything I'm doing wrong, I must be rubbish at doing evangelism, so I'm no longer going to do it." So I said, "Well, tell me about your life." She told me about how she cared for her neighbours. She told me about how she helped at the toddler group. She was part of a Domino's group in the week where she got loads of people together who were on their own during the day, and she was doing that. And I said, "You do realise you've got a total gift of being a gatherer?" And she goes, "What do you mean?" And I said, "One of the steps to Christ is about gathering people and caring for them, and that's what you're good at." And she's like, "So I've been doing this right? I'm doing evangelism right?" I'm like, "Yes, you are doing exactly what God's called you to do." And I could just see she was so happy and so pleased that what she'd been doing was the right thing. And she'd been taught, or she thought that unless you sat down with somebody and did a Bible study with them, or unless you sat down with somebody and prayed with them and led them to Christ, that she wasn't a success. And a few weeks later I went to another church. I spoke to a young lady, and she was there with a baby, and she was so lovely, and she was quite nervous about being there, and I could see that she was quite shy, and I was speaking to her, and she goes, "Oh, this evangelism's not for me." And I said, "Oh, okay." She goes, "Well, I'm an introvert, you see, and everyone who does evangelism is an extrovert, and they stand on street corners, or they knock on people's doors, or they give out flyers, and I would never do any of those things." So I sat with her, and I was speaking to her, and I was saying to her, but you're brilliant at sitting and caring for people. You're brilliant at the one-to-one. You've got a real gift. And she just looked at me. She goes, "So what I'm doing is evangelism?" I was like, "Yes, you are reaching people for Christ. You are getting people to go from no knowledge of Christ to an understanding of Christ, or a relationship." And just sitting with her and explaining to her that God can use you where you are. That's my dishwasher draining. Where God can use you where you are, and God can use you with your personality and your character, and you don't need to change because God's made you the way God's made you to reach people in your world. And I just love that, and that's why I love Activate, and I love everything about it. So if you're able to donate in some way or give it monthly, that is amazing. If you're able to pray for us and come onto the prayer team, we would absolutely love that. And if we're seeing you at the next weekend away, at the end of February for the By Faith weekend away, I'm really looking forward to seeing you and hearing your stories. And maybe you could give me some soup recipes, because this poor one that Rachel's going to eat today is okay. It's looking a little bit better. I'll show you. So if you have any ideas for my soup or any ideas for Activate, I'd more than be happy to hear that, and I'd enjoy it. And just as I'm talking, look who's walked in the door.
I like your wreath.
Say hi, Rach.
Hi, who is it? Hi.
Just Activate people.
Oh, how come we're along with Activate people?
Because we are. And there's our soup that we're going to have for our lunch. So, see you later.